Well, hello everybody and welcome to the Le Loop pre-tour information video. I'm Kate and together with Sarah we're going to answer the questions that we get asked most at this time of year. We're also going to point you in the right direction to where to find those answers on the website in the Rider Zone. So have a good listen, and if you still have any questions at the end, then please do drop either of us a line. Okay, let's talk about insurance. If you haven't organised your travel insurance yet, please make this a priority now. You need to cover the usual things, your luggage, medical repatriation. Bike insurance is entirely up to you. A couple of good places to start are Yellow Jersey, and they offer our riders a 10% discount with the code RLL10. British Cycling also has some very comprehensive packages, but of course there are many other insurers you could talk to. Now, in the pre-tour information advice in the Rider Zone, there is a section on insurance, and it's worth having a look at that when you're speaking to insurers because there are a few questions there that we try to answer that could be useful. Once on tour, you need to bring the name of your insurer, the policy number, and the 24-hour emergency phone number with you, and we'll take those details off you on the first night at the briefing.
In terms of navigation, we arrow the entire route every day from the point you leave until the moment you arrive at the next hotel. We have a car that goes out ahead of the cyclists and puts up arrows in the most brilliant way for every single kilometre of the Tour de France. Every year cyclists come and say they've never seen such good arrowing on any sportive or any other event. So please don't worry, you really won't get lost. We can't and don't give out GPX files, but actually once you get used to just following the arrows, everyone enjoys it more. You don't have to be staring at your little computer. You can just enjoy the scenery. The arrows really are well placed, well identifiable, and we promise that you will be fine.
We don't particularly recommend you using too many energy bars or energy gels. We do find that they cause a lot of upset stomachs and mouth ulcers if they're used in excess, which is a danger when you're doing a multi-staged endurance event like Le Loop. By all means, stick a couple of your favourite bars or gels in your back pocket in case of an emergency. Maybe you've got a low blood sugar for a bit, or you've got a big climb to get up. But the food that we provide on tour on the side of the road is really excellent, and we would really encourage you to focus on eating real food rather than relying on bars and gels. Our experience is that riders who bring out a lot of those things take most of them home with them. Sports drinks are a little bit different. By all means, bring along your favourite powder or tablets. You can have spare in your day bag so that you can top up those sports drinks during the day. We do keep a supply of all these things in our tour shop, so you can purchase them, but I can't guarantee that they will be your preferred brand or your preferred flavour, but they are there in case of an emergency.
The typical day has 4 feed stops every 40 or so kilometres. The first feed stop will be bananas, cake, dried fruit and nuts. The second one, freshly made coffee, tea, sandwiches, sweet and savoury, fruit, biscuits. And the third stop of the day is what we call lunch, even if it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You get pasta salads, rice salads, big vegetable salads, more bread and cheese if you want it, all sorts of things, cake, dessert, melon, fruit. And then the fourth stop in the afternoon is the one where we give you treats to try and sort of keep you going and get there to the very end of the day. So there you'll get all sorts of snacks, crisps. We give out cans of drink at that stop, chocolate bars if you need them, everything that you need to keep you going to the end of the day. If you have a dietary request, an allergy, if you're vegetarian, we have special boxes at all of those feed stops, so you can take what suits you from the normal feed stop, but there'll always be a box well stocked with things that suit whatever your special need is. So you can speak to me on the event and we can make sure that that box has whatever it, gluten-free, dairy-free, vegetarian things, and only the people who need it will have access to that special supply. With regards to the food in the hotels, so breakfast and dinner, breakfast always a buffet, so you should be able to get what you need from that. And in dinner, we speak to the hotels or the restaurants individually to work out what is best for each person. So if you do have a dietary requirement, all you need to do is let us know beforehand, ideally, but certainly speak to me when you arrive at the first arrival briefing, and we'll make sure that you get enough calories through the event. It may be that for a vegetarian, there's a bit less choice. You may eat more omelettes than you otherwise would have. If you don't like omelettes, we'll sort something else out. And in the absolute worst case scenario, we always carry spare supplies of things, beans and lentils and things like that, with us, that we can make sure you get access to, or the hotel can heat for you, if there really is a problem or you're not getting what you need. So please don't anyone worry about the food side of things. We're on your side, and we'll make sure everyone eats very, very well.
It's not uncommon for riders to tell us that they're worried about getting left on their own out on their bikes. In reality, we have a huge range of abilities on tour, so more often than not, there is somewhere for everybody where they will have company on the road. We do help this along a bit by neutralising the first 40k of each day up to the first feed stop. What that means in reality is that nobody can leave that first feed stop until the last rider is in. This just helps control the pace a bit. It enables everybody to be sociable and to chat to other riders who perhaps they're not going to see for the rest of the day because maybe they're too far ahead or too far behind. Once you're past that first feed stop, you can just go your own speed, and that's fine. If you do find yourself on your own on the road at any point in the day, don't start beating yourself to try and reach the next group ahead of you. Instead, just enjoy the ride and wait for the next group of riders who are behind you to catch you up, and then hook in with them. And that way you'll find a very happy place in the pack to ride. Most of you are using our bike transport to and from France, and all those arrangements are now in place. If you're unsure as to when you need to drop your bike off and where, you need to go to your rider zone, and on the right hand side under event info you'll see a button for bike transport. Find the bike shop that you have booked with, and you'll be able to see in the table below it the window for drop off and collection, depending on which loop you're doing. The bikes are then labelled and transported out to France, and you will be reunited with them when you get to your hotel. Take a few minutes to just check everything's okay with your bike on your arrival night, particularly if you've got electric gears. It's worth double checking that, check your tyres and so on, so that in the morning you're not faffing with your bike, you know that it's all ready to go. And then at the end of your tour, you'll simply hand it back over to the mechanics. They will load it up into a van and it'll be transported back to the UK for you. Now, if for any reason you can't collect your bike from the bike shop after your tour at the required time, can we ask and suggest that you book a bike service with the bike shop? If you do this, they will happily hold on to your bike for a bit longer, giving you time to get there and collect it. We are totally dependent on these bike shops doing this for us out of the goodness of their hearts. So it's important that we don't take advantage of them by having bikes hanging around uncollected. So can you please be aware of this and sensitive to it, and treat the bike shop owners with respect, so that we can continue offering this service for many years to come.
In terms of bike setup and spare parts, the best thing to do is to start in the rider zone. If you go to the top right, you'll see the event info section, and the bottom red button is called pre-tour information. That has a packing list for you, as well as a bike setup and spares list, depending on how many stages you're cycling with us. For example, if you're cycling 10 stages or more, we recommend that you bring a couple of spare spokes and also a spare rear mech hanger. We do have quite a lot of spare parts that we carry with us that come sale or return from our bike partner On Your Bike in London. So you don't need to go overboard. We do have a lot of spare inner tubes, tyres, things like that for sale. And of course, if you have something really specific that you need, within a few days, we can normally get to a bike shop in France to buy that. We have mechanics everywhere on tour. They're at the feed stops, we have mechanics in the back van, and we have an evening shift at the hotel that can carry out more major mechanical repairs if that becomes necessary for your bike. And if things get really bad, we also have a fleet of spare bikes from FBR, who are our bike sponsor, and we carry those with us all the time on the event. So they'll be in the feed stop vans and also in the back van, and we have bikes in different sizes. We have 2 feed stop vans that go to feed stops 1 and 3, and 2 and 4, and you can put a bag in each of those feedstock vans, which means that you don't have to carry too much with you on your bike, because every 40 or so kilometres you'll see one of your bags at one of those feed stops. So you might want to carry a gas canister or a spare inner tube with you on your bike, but other things can go in a bag and you'll see them when you get to those feed stops. All of the hotels have Wi-Fi, but it doesn't mean it's easy to use when there's 70 or 80 cyclists who all turn up at the same time and all want to use Wi-Fi. So we just ask people to try and limit when they connect to the hotel Wi-Fi to use roaming if possible, although we're not always in locations with great mobile reception. But where there's a will, there's a way. And it may be that if you're uploading blogs or photos, you need to do that late in the evening or first thing in the morning when fewer people are using the hotel Wi-Fi. And the people who get in first should do their Wi-Fi stuff and then get off the hotel Wi-Fi. But there's normally a way to make that work.
Each year we invite a couple of young people from the charities that we're supporting to come and join us on tour. They'll come for one stage and they will either cycle some of that stage with us or they will work with our support crew. But you get a chance to meet them, talk to them and hear more about their story. They and their key worker will also speak to the group in the evening and explain more about the work that their charity is doing and the impact that it has on these young lives. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to meet young people who your fundraising is actively supporting and to really get a better understanding of what the trust is all about and why Le Loop exists. The weather on tour can be extremely fickle. We can have glorious temperatures, we can have pouring rain, we could have freezing temperatures at the top of Coles, and we could have blistering tarmac melting heat, and you really do need to bring clothing appropriate for all eventualities. And that does mean, particularly if you're in the mountains, bring winter kit with you, even if it sits in your day bag as a just in case backup thing. Also make sure that you've got really lightweight stuff that's going to be suitable if it's really hot and sunny. We will provide in that case lots of top-ups for water and extra sun cream as well, but it's worth keeping things like sun cream in your day bags also. So please don't underestimate the potential range of temperatures you might experience on tour. You may, certainly as a Grand Looper, experience all of these, so make sure you bring the kit that will be appropriate for any of those weathers. You will all have reached at least 80% of your fundraising targets by the time you arrive in France, which is fantastic. Well done, everybody. The final 20% we aim to have into the charity by the end of August. And so if you can make that your goal, certainly if you've got match funding coming from an employer, do your best to get that in by the end of August. Let us know if that's not going to be possible. But that does give you a bit of extra time whilst you're on tour and straight after your tour to really pull in those last funds. If you need any support or help with getting that last 20% in, then please do get in touch with me and I'll do what I can to help. Well, I hope that's helped to answer all your burning questions about Le Loop this year. The overriding message really has to be to go and check out all of those buttons underneath event info in the rider zone. We've tried very hard to answer everything there. So if you can't find the answer to a question, please do get in touch with either myself, Kate, or Sarah, and we will, of course, do our best to help you out. We're really excited about this year's tour. The recce has gone really well. It's a fantastic route. We're excited to be meeting you all out there and we wish you huge luck. We'll see you in France.